Now let's go on to the second example. So now we have a family of catheters. Okay, there are no serious adverse events globally and no open FSCAs, and again no withdrawals or rejections, and all models have been introduced in 2005. But the models do not have the same reference agency approvals. Okay, so Model A has been registered in EU and US FDA, Model B EU and Health Canada, but Model C only Japan MHLW. Okay, so based on this, which route can this device go for? Okay, so for this case, EBR1 or the abridged route will apply. Okay, so take note that even though models A and B do meet the IDR criteria, Model C does not because it only has one RA approval. So in this case, the entire application will not qualify for IDR. Okay, so now let us move on to the submission requirements for the 4 routes. Okay, for this, you may refer to Annex B of your handout. Okay, so kindly note that we will not be going into detail, okay, each of the documentary requirements for the 4 routes, okay, but rather we want to highlight the important points to take note of. So for all 4 routes, IDR, EBR, abridged, and full, the submissions will be based on the Common Submission Dossier Template, also known as the CSDT. Okay, and also take note that for the abridged and full routes, the submission requirements remains the same. Now, first thing to take note of, if you are going by IDR, EBR, or abridged, okay, proof of reference agency approvals will have to be submitted to HSA. Okay, so what are these approvals that we recognize? Okay, as shown on the slide, so the reference agencies are Australia, Canada, EU, Japan, and the United States. Okay, kindly note that the approval types listed are the same as what we have been accepting for the abridged route. Okay, so there is no change in the approval type. Okay, next, for IBR, okay, because it leverages on reference agency approvals and marketing history, the submission requirements have been reduced. Okay, so take for example, you will not be required to submit the essential principles checklist and declaration of conformity. Okay, previously, okay, so for IBR, proof of the reference agency, proof of the marketing history in the reference agency jurisdiction, okay, as well as no safety issues will have to be provided. Okay, so as proof of marketing history, this will apply for IBR and EBR1 goods. Okay, so what do we accept? Okay, so you can submit an invoice with the date as proof of sale. Okay, however, we have also noted during the public consultation and focus group sessions that these invoices may not be readily available for submission to HSA. So we have taken your feedback into consideration, okay, and we will now allow you to submit a declaration as proof of the marketing history. So a screenshot of the marketing history declaration is shown on the slide for your reference. Okay, for a clearer copy, kindly refer to Annex C of your handout. Okay, in addition, note that this declaration, it is to be duly completed and signed by the local applicant. Okay, next, we have been mentioning that for IBR and EBR1, okay, the device shall have no safety issues. So what do we mean when we say no safety issues? Okay, so basically there shall be no reported deaths, no reported serious deterioration in the state of health globally associated with the use of the medical device when used as intended by the product owner, and no open field safety corrective actions at the point of submission. Okay, similarly, a screenshot of the safety declaration template is shown for your reference, but for a clearer copy, refer to Annex D of your handout. Okay, so again, this safety declaration is to be completed and signed by the local applicant. Okay, so you will be required to ensure that the product owner has provided sufficient information on the safety issues for the device that you wish to register. Okay, next, for IVR, because the submission requirements have been reduced, okay, if your device is sterile, okay, you can submit a declaration of conformity to the ISO sterilization standards. Okay, alternatively, you can give us a copy of the sterilization validation report. So this is only for sterile device. So if your device is non-sterile, okay, and you're going via the IVR route, then you will not be required to submit any design B&B documents. Okay, and finally, last point to take note of is that for all 4 routes, if the medical device has label claims beyond the inherent performance of the device, additional data may be requested to substantiate the proposed label use. So for IVR, okay, additional clinical data may be requested post-registration. So kindly take note of that. Okay, so now that we have gone through the eligibility criteria and the submission requirements, okay, what do you as the applicant need to do? So before you perform a submission, please always ensure that all devices within the application fulfill the eligibility criteria for the route that we have selected. Okay. In addition, please make sure that you have all the required documents to support the registration. And when entering the information in Medix, okay, please ensure that the information is entered correctly and accurately. Okay, so now let us go through the application process. So for IVR, it is upon successful submission of the application via Medix, your device will be registered and listed on the SMDR within an hour. Okay, an email notification will also be sent within 48 hours. So because the device is immediately listed, take note that the fees will also be charged immediately. Okay, next, we will do a verification of documents, and in the event that we require further clarification, okay, additional data may be requested post-registration. Okay, but kindly note that due notice will be given in such an event. Okay, also additional post-registration conditions may be imposed post-registration.